going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Cinema Dudes podcast. The only podcast, not the only podcast. There's a lot of podcasts that talk about cinema. I don't know why I always do that. That's how I always intro this, and it's like, I don't know why, but one of the only podcasts that talks about cinema. Not even one of the only. I don't know. It's a podcast that talks about cinema.
There's no cinema around this whole fucking June.
Nope. There's a whole bunch of podcasts that talks about cinema.
There's nothing. There's nothing at all because, obviously everything's shut down.
Yeah.
But you heard though that there's that the first time in their box office week that they make $0.
That's history.
$0 from their box office.
Yeah.
0. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, that's a history in the making right there. Only because it is definitely.
By the way, we're live on Skype though because we have to practice social distancing.
Social distancing.
I thought he was
distancing.
Social distancing. Look at right there. We're tapping each other's fingers, because I thought he was gonna come by today to my place, and I was like, oh cool, I'll wipe down the whole place, and then whoopie chammy do, and then he came by, I told him like, all right, let me know when you come by. He goes, oh, we're Skyping today. I was like, oh shit.
Hey, however,
like, right.
At least your place is clean now though, so.
I know, it's right. It's clean right now.
It's like 100% cleaner now. You wiped everything down, and everything's good.
Exactly. It's clean for the better good, so it's fine. I'm not really mad about it. I'm good. I'm fine.
Oh yeah.
No complaints. We're in a good we're in a good society right now. We're in a place where everything's gonna come off good. We're in a clean place. Social distancing is good. Washing our hands as well. I don't have any fucking toilet paper for Christ's sakes, but but we're stocked up.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna let you take the
We're distracted from all this. We have to talk about we're abhorrence in the film though.
I know.
Abhorrence of the film.
I'm gonna let you take the wheel this episode. This is all you.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, buddy.
This is all you, man. You have your episode planned out.
Oh, do you want me to start it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So today we were gonna commentate on the movie Full Metal Jacket. It is a
Stanley Kubrick film.
It is a Stanley Kubrick film. It's a good fucking film. It's 1987.
87, yeah.
And
Vietnam War film.
It's not a very bizarre film because not like how we would think about it. Because we look at Stanley Kubrick films, like we talk about it throughout the podcast too, and we look at Clockwork Orange, we look at The Shining, and
2001: Space Odyssey.
This Space Odyssey, which I thought I haven't seen it yet, but I think that's gonna be a bizarre fucking film.
Yeah. Oh man, have you seen Clockwork Orange, man? That movie's weird.
Yes. That film is just really bizarre. I think he has a bizarre personality for himself to just for him to express all that.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like I can't think of the times where he thought like, whoa, this rape scene is very fanatic. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's a lot in
like,
Clockwork
really?
too. A lot.
Yeah, like a lot. You can't seem to say like, well, like those great things are like fanatic, but yeah, he has a very heart to like everything. He's a very animal person, which we'll talk about right now in this. I'll talk about in the trivia. But he has this like very heart to like to some things, and I think for this film though, it's a way different thing.
Yeah.
It's a way of his genre, to think like, "Whoa, you're doing a war film? Like, really?
Yeah.
What kind of person are
I
you?"
mean, the
And
guy's
this
really
kind of
done it all, though. I mean, he's done a war film, he's done sci-fi, he's done like a very interesting, weird.
Do you think that he wants to do that though? Do you think that he wants to do all these society things?
I
Like
think, I
he
think,
wants to do all.
I think just
Go
as a
ahead.
filmmaker, because he's already passed, and everything. But I think as a filmmaker, he just wanted to test himself to see what he can do. And
Because his first film was what? His first film was like way. We gotta look way back though.
but with Stanley
His first
Kubrick,
film was called it was a short film. It was called Flying Padre, and then we look from there. Then he did Flying. He did Fear and Desire. The Killing, and he did Spartacus.
yeah,
He just I did not know he did Spartacus.
yeah,
That's why I was shocked about it, because I was listening to Mission 250 films that they did. They were talking about like, yeah, he did Spartacus for the film. I was like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Really? That was interesting. That was really good. But so what we can talk about is like this movie is very interesting if you guys are really into like the war films. Like we look at Platoon, we look at I can't think of Saving Private Ryan.
yeah.
What other films that we
I
can
mean,
we
you
can
got
think about
you
that?
got Platoon. I mean, are you talking about just Vietnam War films or just war films in general?
Not Vietnam war films. We talk about war films
I
in
mean, you
general.
got
Well, like yeah, a little bit. We can talk about like well, like there's like these are shows though. Like I've seen like Bands of Brothers. We've seen Bands of Brothers for that. Like
HBO.
those kind of shows for like that one. Those are more open. It's a wide.
1917.
Yes. That was during the time when.
World
That
War
was
One.
during the time when. Huh?
That
World
was
War
that
One.
was World War
Yeah.
One.
And then, because I think though, because that was I think that one, 1917, was such a great film. Was like not only because of the cinematography and everything was like but the story though, but the fact that they were talking about World War One. Because I don't think we talk about World War One so much.
I think
We talk about World War Two.
what made that movie interesting too is it really was only the point of view of two people, pretty much.
Yes.
Well then spoilers, but then it got narrowed down to one person.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It was really short though. That's what I like. I think I didn't like about that the fact that I didn't like it halfway when there were the one person got killed,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden they were like, "Well, I'm like, fuck, what are they gonna do with this other person?" And then all of a sudden that's when they started bringing up to the film like there was more and more other like adventures towards that, and I think that was an interesting little thought that they did that through that story.
yeah,
But this film, Full Metal Jacket, I think we can say though from we can really talk about more about the 45 minutes of the film versus what happened during after
hmm
when Private Joker was in the war, was in Vietnam War, and then he got to be with he connected with Private Cowboy, and then he was with other people that he connected with. He was with Animal Mother, he was with 8 Ball, and then all these other people that uh, like
yeah,
they're like they became a more persona. They became a really good fucking cast in the film,
hmm
because I know Adam Baldwin in the fucking film was fanatic.
yeah,
Adam Baldwin in that film was pretty interesting in that film. He was a cocky motherfucker. He was a cocky dude. But we know that the fact that like Matthew Modine's like character, Private Joker, he was the main part of this whole film. Do you think that the part of it was mostly about him himself throughout the whole thing, throughout the whole movie, not just the 45 minutes of that film?
I mean, you start to see more of him progress throughout the movie, and
Yeah.
they really start to focus more on him after the whole thing
Why
with
why do
Private
you
Pile.
think why do you think that he started that whole scene when he said, um, "Are you John Wayne? Is this me?"
Yeah.
When he started impersonating him,
I mean, I
do
think
you like? Do you think that was him being that like, well, I'm about to start this whole. This is my part, but like this whole movie, this is gonna be me. Well, are you John Wayne? This is me, type thing. I'm like, well, is this it, like when is this the part when you really come up in your life? I mean, this whole movie, do you
yeah,
really have to be that?
yeah. I think
Like,
it was an
do you,
opportunity to kind of let him shine a little bit more.
yeah, yeah. This guy was a really fanatic actor. He was great.
Yeah.
He was a great actor. Matthew Modine was he's a great actor. He played the he's done so many other films.
Mhm.
Not to name it off, but like this guy that did it was he played off the really good part of Joker,
Yeah.
Private Joker, because he played the meaning of that name,
Yeah.
and there was a good part of that, and I think for that part was really good. But we can't we cannot not let off without Arlie Emery that played Hartman.
Oh,
Dude,
Lee. Yeah.
that shit that he did mostly was so improvised.
Oh, everything he did in that
It
movie was
was
improvised. Stanley Kubrick tried giving him a script, he wouldn't take it because he already knew what to do.
yes, and he did that for like for the I can't tell you like those first 10 minutes I was like that's gonna be him.
Yeah.
That's gonna be this is gonna be his movie. This is the reason why everyone's gonna watch is because it's Arlie Henry
Yeah.
because of his part, and no one's gonna backlash that. I was really impressed because the guy had a background. The guy had a background of a Marine,
Yeah. He was a drill
being a
sergeant.
Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing that during his time. And then he did that, and then he improvised. He asked for that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, he asked for that role to do that, and he asked us because Stanley said no. He said no for him for the first time, and
Yeah.
he said and then do you know how he got that role?
No.
Okay, so I'll tell you about this. Okay, so Starly, or Arlie Henry, or Arlie Emery, I don't know how his name is pronounced, but but he, what he did was he asked him for the role. He told him like, I want to be in this role for being the sergeant. He said, Stanley Kubrick said no. And then while he was sitting down, he told him to get his ass up.
Oh.
He was yelling at him in a sergeant mode, told him to get your ass up right now from the stool. And he fucking got up, Stanley Kubrick got up, and he looked at me and he said, oh shit, you got the role.
Just that
Yeah.
simple. It was
So
like it took that much
not
force.
exactly how it went, but like he did say those things.
Yeah.
Like it those kind of things were very off the like he told him like, well, you got that role, and then let him to like improvise. You
Yeah.
know, like you never know what you're gonna get, and I was extremely impressed. I was extremely impressed how this movie went. That first, I think, like I said, like I'm gonna say it for the 45 millionth time, is that 45 minutes of film is impressive.
Yeah.
It's so damn fucking good.
Well, that's what most people
Not only
remember because
because
of that
how
movie.
disciplined it was. Go ahead.
That's what a lot of people really know from that movie is the first 45 minutes of that movie. I mean, those are the most like quotable parts. Those are the most memorable parts of that film.
Yes, because of that film is so it's so memorable.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking we can't look at the time where like we go to like why do we watch this film? Why do we watch Full Metal Jacket? Because of this 45 fucking film. It's like my dad. My dad used to watch that film for the first 45 minutes
Yeah.
because he loved the first 45 minutes because he told me those times because he was the ex-marine that he would watch those. He would watch it and he said those were real.
Yeah.
Those things were real. Those like that time when they were saying like this is my time, this is my gun. They were grabbing their cocks and they were like squishing it back and forth.
Yeah.
He said like yeah, that's fucking real.
Yeah.
Those times when like when Private Pile got fucking yelled at, yeah. He
No,
was
yeah,
saying
no,
like,
and
yeah, those are. I told him like, is that even fucking real? He goes, yeah. He goes,
no.
they
And you
yelled the
got to
shit
remember
out of
too,
people.
with Stanley Kubrick, he's a perfectionist and he will get everything to the right detail. That way his movie looks as real and feels as real as possible.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Because this kind of like these kind of these kind of war films are just like impressive. Like the, we cannot get the fact that um we're not over with that. It's um I can't say much other than it was a good script. It was greatly shot.
Yeah.
It was good shot. The ending was kind of fucking bizarre. It was like, what the fuck happened? Like, why did he need to shoot the child? And then the private Joker, and he goes, "Well, I feel fucking good, just another fucking Tuesday." Why?
Yeah.
Why does he need to do that?
It's just for the freaking drama of the movie, just to get people to
Yeah.
say the same exact things you are saying.
What was the whole point of that whole? But then again, because I love this, because I mean I'm gonna say I am changing how I feel about this film. It's gonna be really different, but I love the film. But then again, the ending really fucking killed me off because I was like thinking, what was the whole point of this film?
Yeah.
Was him being like like he was supposed to be like aggressive in this whole character? Like he was supposed to be
well, because when you first see him, he's not nearly as aggressive as he gets in the ending of the movie.
No, he was more kindly because.
But I think as it's kind of a process of a soldier, and I think that's the overall story is when you first join, you don't know what to expect, and you're kind of nervous, and then you're still going through that nervous throughout all of boot camp, and then when you finally join the war, yeah, you're still scared shitless, but at that time you got to man up a little bit and still keep going. So they're kind of showing you the process of what it's like being a soldier during that time.
I think so too. I think so, but the fact that he didn't change much from his personality from that life.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't change much, which was kind of good throughout the film. It made pretty good sense of the film because he would stay that way. Yeah. But the fact that he was aggressively like keep on going and going, and then all of a sudden like he was becoming a good person in his life. And then all of a sudden, then when the child fucking shot at him, and then they were telling him, "Well, shoot her, right?" And then she was saying, "Shoot me too." She was like, "Shoot me," because she was dying.
Yeah.
In the part of the film, if you guys don't know, spoiler alert, there was the ending. There was her dying right now. There was a child dying. There was a Chinese woman, teenager dying, and she was saying, "Shoot me, shoot me."
Yeah.
And he shot her. I wasn't sure if he was because I haven't seen it, but he did shot her.
Yeah.
He did shot the woman. and I was kind of thinking like, so what was the whole point?
Yeah.
What was the whole perspective of this whole film when you could have, you really could have saved this woman's life?
Yeah.
You could have been really nice. You could have just put her in like, hey, let's go, like put her on the side, like, hey, let's get her to a hospital. She needs some help. And but I think then again, you look at his helmet.
Yeah.
It says "Born to Kill." Born to Kill. It makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
for that meal. I was like, well,
Yeah.
okay, well that makes a little sense for his part because he's a psychopath. I think he's a little of a psychopath himself.
Yeah.
He was a little psychopath. He didn't give a fuck.
Well,
He didn't give a
that
fuck
also
for
goes
that.
back to like war changes people.
Yes. Think about the time that he was doing that now.
Yeah.
And then when he came back and he was still living to this damn day,
Mm-hmm.
how do you think he would be like now?
I mean,
Oh,
and I'm not
shit.
saying all people in the war were like this, but a lot of people when they joined and came back, there was a lot of racist people out there too. And
Yes.
like I'm saying, I'm not saying everyone in the Vietnam War was racist. I'm just saying that I think just with killing other, people from other countries and stuff just kind of just made them think like they're all like that. You know what I mean?
I think so too because they are they're racist, but they're cocky.
Yeah.
They're cocky. They have this because they're going through so much PSD. They're going through so much trauma in their life.
Yeah.
And then they talk about they talk about the times when they're drunk or they're mad and they say, "Whoa, you never see my friend die right in front of me."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I haven't, but good for you for telling me though.
Yeah.
I've had that experience before. I don't know if you had that experience before. Have you?
Of like kind of something like that? No.
Something like that. Something like someone like a grandfather or a dad or any other man telling you like you never seen a man die right in front of me.
No, I actually have never had anyone tell me that.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I've sadly had that happen with my father. My father would talk about the war, um, and then he would say like, "Well, my best friend died right in front of me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I would. It suddenly it kind of suns the mood because you're talking about so much things about the good times, you're talking about like a really good subject, and then all of a sudden like they come off with this whole like Vietnam story and saying like, "Whoa, my best friend fucking died right in front of me." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah, it just kind of completely changes the whole
I'm
tone of
like,
everything.
okay, let's just change the subject
Yeah.
right now. It's bad.
No, it's definitely something, and you can't forget another big part of this movie, which really kind of jump-started his career, and he's actually a pretty well-known actor today, is Vincent D'Onofrio playing Private Pyle. I mean,
Yes.
you see him come into
Yes.
the he was drafted in around that time. The draft was huge. He was drafted in, so
Yes.
he didn't want to be there in the first place. And,
He did not want to. Yeah.
and then you see him go through a bunch of shit because of his weight and everything, and how much of a slob he is, and everything, and everybody fucking with him because he's getting in trouble, getting everyone else in trouble. So everybody beats
Do
him
you
with like.
think he expected to play that kind of character though?
I
In
think
that first 45.
I think
45 minutes.
I think he took the role knowing what he was gonna take, and I don't think he regrets it to this day because that literally pretty much put a name on that guy. I mean, I don't know how many
Yes.
movies he did prior to that,
Yes.
but I think that
every
movie.
movie that he's done, every movie that Vincent has done,
Yeah.
he has named him. He has named Stanley Kubrick, telling him, "I thank him for giving me that role."
Yeah, I mean,
He's named.
dude, every time I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, look, Private Pyle. Like, that's what you're
Yeah.
known for, dude.
It's Private Pyle. Like you got like that guy is so. That's amazing about Vincent though. Is this guy is well known for Private Pyle. Besides him playing
Kingpin.
uh, what was it? Kingpin. He's
Kingpin.
playing. What was it called? What was his
He
name?
he was Kingpin.
What
I
was
forget
his?
it. I forget Kingpin's actual name, but he was in
Uh,
Daredevil.
yeah, he was in Daredevil in the new series.
Yeah.
But
Excellent casting choice, by the way.
it was excellent. Yes. Um, but like this guy that you every time you see him, you just look at him like, fuck, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
It's Private Pile.
Yeah.
It's Private Pile. That fucking retard.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a big thing in this movie. I mean, because you watch him as him not wanting to be there, to him getting bullied, to him eventually just killing himself.
Yeah. Why do you think he did that though? That's what I want to talk about. What made because he was doing in that first 15 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
He was that first. I mean, not the first 15. The last 15 minutes of that film. That last of the 45 minutes.
Yeah.
He was doing really good. And then he all of a sudden came out with this whole psychopathic thing.
Yeah.
Like, is that like a part of like a mental issue? Like, is that normal for a mental guy for
Well,
him?
I think what happened was he already had issues as it is, and
Yeah.
I think
Do you think he had issues background, like a background of issues? Like he
I
already
think
had,
so. I
like,
think he's always been picked on growing up for being his weight and everything, and I think like a lot of the trauma that came out from the drill sergeant and everything really like pushed him over the limit, and he just couldn't take it anymore, and it drove him insane, drove him crazy, and eventually just drove him to himself to kill himself and
right.
the drill sergeant.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. But then again, I look at the sergeant though. I look at him and he's literally making the fuck fun of him.
Yeah.
He's giving him the hardest damn time. But then again, I think of myself for those times though, for those kind of things, he's really doing that.
Yeah.
Is he really just doing that because he wants to motivate him to be better, or he hates those kind of low Down syndrome people?
I don't think
those kind of low IQ people in that kind of character's background though. Do you think that he hates those kind of people in those backgrounds? I
don't think he hates anyone. I think it was more of a mental test to see how much he can push them, because much like a war scenario, you're gonna get pushed to your limits to like the very high. You're gonna get pushed to like the very highest of your limits, and
yeah.
what he's doing is mentally preparing them and training them as to this is just talk. He goes, when it comes down to it, it's gonna be talk and killing. It's like basically he was preparing them on a mental level to get ready for a scenario where, I mean, yeah, what he was doing, of course, wasn't right, and of course was on a whole new level, but when you go to war, and I can't really speak for myself about going to war because I've never been to war, and I mean, but from stories I've heard, when you go to war, like I said, it changes you, and it
right.
on a mental place, it changes you as well. So he was preparing them
same thing as my
on
father.
a big mental state for what's to come, because when you get into war, it's probably 10 times worse than what you experience at boot camp. If anything, they're going easy on you at boot camp, and if anything, he was going easy on him at boot camp.
You look at movies. You look at other movies that suffer through that.
Yeah.
You look at Brothers. First of all, Brothers, from that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal with Tobey Maguire and Natalie Portman. That Tobey Maguire played a really good PTSD soldier.
Yeah.
He played because he suffered a lot through life.
Yeah.
He saw people killed. He saw people suffer, and then he came back with that, and then, but not the whole spoil the whole movie, but like he really suffered through that whole time.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. I want to say the same thing. What's gonna be like for Private Joker?
Yeah.
But with Private Pile, though, I think it was definitely a mental problem with him.
Yeah.
He was going through a mental issue, and he was doing a lot of issues. He wasn't correctly in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for him though, we see that as, well, like either he was dumb or he was mentally fucked up for this whole movie.
I think he was
I
just
mean, throughout this.
to a point he was just done. He didn't want to be there no more. He didn't want to really do it. He didn't want anything to do with it anymore. And I think
Do you
at that
think
point he
that
was just
him
done.
shooting himself was going to end that though, or really he could have gone out right there in the graduation, that whole scene, the whole graduation, he could have gone out right there
Yeah.
and told him like, "Hey, I'm done. Fuck this.
No,
I'm done."
I think even he realized if he returned home, it'd be more like of a dishonorable discharge, and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't want that. But he goes, the other scenario is I can kill myself and kill this guy for fucking with me, and that's just how
Yes,
I go out.
but that's the thing though, because do you think this is on? Do you think this is on private? Do you think this is on Private Joker's part? Because he was saying in that whole scene where, like I told you, he was saying, "I think he's a Section 8." If you don't know what Section 8 is, it's a mentally, it's pretty much what Private Powell deals with. He's a
Mhm.
mentally disabled person,
Yeah.
like he has go through mental challenges, and it's pretty much he's pretty much fucking crazy, um, or it's very injured. They're very injured, and they don't say anything,
Yeah.
and they honorably discharge him.
Yeah.
Um, but that per but he didn't say much. Why do you think he did not say much about that though? Did you think he goes, well, I want him to continue into this whole? I think it's a continuing him for being like, well, this guy's a this. I want this guy to fuck up already.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe they thought that would be a good thing on their side as far as if they got him into the war. Maybe they looked at that as like he can do a lot of killing for us.
mm-hmm.
Maybe it was
Yeah,
a war strategy they thought of, but
a
who know?
war
Only one
strategy.
person knows, and that's Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, we don't know about that. Stanley Kubrick was the guy that like we can't know until his eyes were to see that, and it kind of fucked up in my head. It kind of fucked up me thinking like, why would he want to like report that?
Yeah.
Tell him like he was a Section 8. Besides him, letting him go and saying like, well, he's just a normal human being, and then go from there.
Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I mean, all in all, though, this movie is just fantastic. It's got really
Uh,
great casting. It's got really
yeah.
great story
Great story.
and
Great writing. Great
yeah.
story.
I mean, the guy who directed the moon landing obviously is gonna write this one, right?
Right. Wait. He did?
That's a conspiracy theory, yeah, that Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing in 1969.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's
Well,
There's a lot of
wait.
references in like The Shining too, with like Danny. A lot of the stuff he's wearing is like an Apollo 11 T-shirt. He's got like moon toys and stuff and space
No way.
toys. Yeah, there's a lot of
No
references in The
way.
Shining to it.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
So everything's really, really um. Oh shit.
yeah, it's a
Okay, so Stanley Kubrick he was uncredited in this movie, but he played Murphy. I don't know who Murphy is.
probably had a small little cameo.
There's a small cameo. I'm kind of scrolling up and see who else it was in this cast. They're they have no face until you get to the top builders. Um, do you know like Vincent was the top bill though?
Yeah,
He was top cast to be built. Like he was supposed to be paid the most out of everyone
yeah,
for this movie, and this guy like going back with this whole like saying, well, Stanley Kubrick was animal lover. To be fact about that,
yeah.
and this guy was so there was a scene where the Jeep was driving off, and this Jeep ran over a bunch of family bunnies.
Oh shit!
I'm not fucking kidding.
They showed in the
This
movie.
This guy drove off and ran over a bunch of family bunnies without noticing. And then Stanley Cooper looked at it and he said, I am fucking done. We're done for the day.
Wow.
He cut off the whole day. He
Wow.
cut off the whole. He was like, "I'm." He cut. He said that we're done for the day. We can't film anymore. That's how much you are a fucking animal lover for
Wow.
that, and that was pretty interesting. For
That guy was a director, though, man. The guy, I mean, if you watch the Shining behind the scenes documentary, like, he really pushed Shelley Duvall to, like, a whole new fucking level of insane. He, like, treated her like shit on set just to give her the best
who did?
performance. Stanley Kubrick. To Shelley
Wait,
Duvall,
which
who
movie?
plays the mom in The Shining.
Oh yeah, those kind of people. Yeah, they're you kind of see those kind of people that he treats people like shit. I know he did the same for Space Odyssey,
Yeah.
where he left people upside down because he wanted to film because there was a cinematography scene that he wanted to film upside down,
Yeah.
and then he left those kind of people upside down and saying like, "Whoa, am I going to get this off?" And he goes, "Well, no, because I'm gonna film you. You got like about another 4 hours left."
Yeah.
It
No, and
was fucking
that's
killer.
also another fun fact is the original script from The Shining you can never find because he changed it so much throughout the filming of that movie.
Right,
So there's no
right,
real original script. There's only one script, and that's like the final script, but you can
hmm
never find what the original script actually was.
right. It it's a very interesting to see that in some ways, and we're even though he treat people like shit, we
Yeah.
still see him as like a legacy. We
Well,
see him
he
as
was
like a
a he
honor.
was a perfectionist when it came to filmmaking.
Yes,
Like I guess they filmed the
he was
door.
a bizarre perfectionist. Like he wanted to see people that he wanted to do. He
Yeah, he
wanted to
wanted
see
to
people
drive
like,
people
well,
to like their very limits to give out the best performance in them, and he did that
right,
example for The Shining, like the Here's Johnny scene. I think they did that like 60 something times just to get
hmm
it right. So they had to constantly keep replacing doors and
right,
shit.
right,
So
and then it's kind of like this film too. We're looking at Full Metal Jacket. That's bizarre.
yeah,
It's we're looking at films like why the fuck do we need to see a 45-minute film of them doing boot camp?
yeah,
Why?
to show you how much they drives people and how much they go through for boot camp.
Exactly. Why?
But
Why do we need to see that? Well, first of all, we need to see that because of the characters, obviously, and then the way the the plot's gonna go in that whole
yeah,
series. I mean, that whole film,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden we see a crazy ass motherfucker named Vincent. I mean, Private Pile goes off and fuck shit up.
yeah.
Other than that, I can't. We can't say much of this film, but saying where there's some more saying. But this movie is really good. I highly recommend it if you love watching war films.
Yeah.
Watching like, hey,
Or
goddamn,
if you're a
we're gonna
Stanley
watch
Kubrick
a war
fan,
film. Yeah,
yeah,
if you're gonna watch this if you're in quarantine and you're gonna watch this, go watch this film.
yeah, definitely.
I highly recommend it. It's
Speaking of quarantine, what are your thoughts on video on demand movies right now?
that's how I feel.
There's his thoughts, ladies and gentlemen.
Movie
That's
on
it.
demand. So we're talking about. So you're explaining about these movies on demand. There are. So we're looking at
We're looking at Invisible
Bloodshot.
Man, The Hunt,
Invisible.
Onward, and Bloodshot so far.
Yes. These movies are on so far. What we're talking about are these movies are on demand. Because like the movie theaters are not open because of this quarantine. They transfer them to the digital, to these movie digitals
20
that
bucks to
they're going to
rent.
be. Yes, they're going to be on books, movies to rent, and then they're going to be on digital now for Fandango. And what I think is, I think it's gonna be good, but how does it enter towards the film industry?
Well, that's the thing.
Does it really make any? It makes profit
Yeah.
for some,
I mean, here's the
but
thing about it, though. I mean, these movies are $20 to rent. So
mm-hmm,
all one person has to do is rent it, and then all they can do is record it, bootleg it, and then put it on a website for free, and you got an HD copy for free. Like, that's what's been happening with the last couple of movies that have came out already.
Well, we look at now. We look at say like 20 million people
Yeah,
bought that at $20 a buck,
yeah,
and then times that times 20, $20 times 20, that would
400.
equal to 400,000.
Yeah,
Like, but imagine that's more though. But
but you gotta imagine too, one person per household buys it, and they're usually a household carries anywhere from 1 to like 6 people on average.
yes,
So that's already about $13 a person right there that they've missed out on.
we gotta think as well because we gotta think of the movie theater. We gotta think of the movie theater industry because the movie theater industry relies on concession stands
Yeah,
because the concession stands make a lot more profit
yeah.
than they usually do on their movies
Well, they
because
get no money from the box office. That all goes towards the studios.
they do not. They
Yeah,
do not. That's why I'm a little worried because these movie theaters, what are they gonna do?
yeah.
What are they gonna like? Are they gonna shut down? Is it gonna? They're gonna lose a lot of fucking money, but what is it gonna affect them on in the end?
It's been officially
Like,
one
are
week
we?
since movie theaters have been shut down as of this recording.
Yes, it's made zero profit, zero money.
Yeah,
That's the first time they said in semi long years, they said that they haven't made any money.
yeah.
And we look at that now, and we're like, wow, like what we can we look at the film festivals
Yeah,
for one too. For the first time in 73 years, the Cannes Festival has shut down.
yeah.
Like,
Well, South by Southwest got canceled too.
yes. How long was that though? You think? But like those kind of things are like
Well, and that was
what?
the thing. I had read an article that this actually hurt a lot of independent movies because this is where they get to get screened for the first time and get an audience
Yes.
reaction, and this is how they get the
Yes.
word out there from a lot of critics who review these movies and put it on their websites to
Yes.
get an audience in.
How is
And
that from them though? Though,
yeah,
like how like do they have to really postpone it for the next year? They have to, yeah.
yeah.
But like, what? Like,
What
what
I'm
is it
worried
gonna?
about, this is what I'm worried about this whole pandemic is we're seeing, week after week more movies are getting postponed and pushed back release dates. What's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen then when everything opens up again? Are we going to get multiple movies coming out on the same day? Are we going to get like 6 releases in one day? Like,
I think they need to take it lightly for those kind of films because it's like opening up everything. It's
well, it's
like
like look
opening
at
up the bars. We gotta open up everything. We gotta open up everything lightly
this.
because
Okay,
we got
so this week or today actually, A Quiet Place Part 2 was supposed to come out.
yes
And
today.
then coming
Mhm.
soon, one of the next big blockbusters of course is a Marvel movie which is Black Widow in May.
Oh my
There's
god, that was
probably
supposed to
there's
come out
probably
next
movies
week,
in
right?
between A Quiet Place and Black Widow that are going to be coming out there are as big too. But and then of course Fast and Furious. I mean, who cares about
Yes.
that movie? But that got postponed till next year. You know, I was
Yes.
laughing actually when I saw that news that it got postponed to the next year. So that's a whole nother year that you got to wait for that stupid ass movie. Um, and then
Okay. Yes, I think about that too because I know how much you're mad about like the Fast Nine.
I'm not no.
Um, I know you're mad because you're mad about
I'm
it.
not. I'm
You
more mad
pissed.
about Black Widow than I am about fucking Fast and
Yes, but
Furious.
like the fact that the no, I'm telling you about the fact that like Fast Nine is coming out with another movie with that is kind of
Stupid.
it's kind of funny because yes, we do think about that. That movie is. I don't really know how that. I think they're gonna really that movie is gonna really rely on how people go in the theater.
Well, another
Which
release I'm
now
pissed
they
out
can't,
about.
because this movie is gonna not fucking make it in
Another
the
release I'm
screen.
pissed off about that we got postponed again for like the 5th fucking time is New Mutants. We were supposed to get that movie 2 fucking years ago,
Yes.
and then it
Yes.
got postponed again, and then it got postponed for 2019, and then it got postponed for another date in 2019, and then it finally got a release date for 2020.
Yes.
And it's like the world
And
does
it
not
got
want us to see this fucking movie, and I'm getting pissed.
I think that this New Mutant whole movie is getting really cursed on.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I mean, at this point, just put the goddamn movie on Disney Plus.
We gotta look at these X-Men films. How good they were. Well, we gotta look at First Class, because the X-Men First Class was really good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, these other films back then with
if you look
Hugh
at it
Jack-
this way,
I'm not saying Hugh Jackman's bad.
The first two X-Men were really good.
Yeah.
X-Men 3 was okay. Wolverine X-Men
The first
Origins.
X-Men was great.
Wolverine X-Men Origins was good up until a certain extent. There was just the Deadpool problems was the biggest problem with that movie.
Deadpool cameo?
No, the Deadpool, yeah, Ryan Reynolds Deadpool and X-Men Origins Wolverine. It was horrible in there.
Oh. Yeah.
However, what is his name? Liv Schreiber, I think, who played Sabretooth. Great casting choice.
The X-Men Origins?
Yeah, he was a great casting choice for Sabretooth. He was badass.
Right.
And I loved him as Sabretooth, especially that opening scene of them fighting in all the wars. Like, that was fucking awesome. And then we went to First Class from there, which was phenomenal. And then they did another Wolverine movie that took place in Japan, which was awesome. It was really good. He fought the Silver, what was his name? The Silver Samurai, I believe it was. And then we did Days of Futures Past, which, brought all the X-Men, both original and new cast together, which was fucking awesome.
I think I'm glad that they brought that up, though.
Yeah.
Because it brought a little good sense of, like,
well, it fixed a lot of continuity
what's going on with this whole trilogy.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. You're like, what the fuck is this?
That's the thing about the X-Men franchise. It's like, okay, the first 3, everybody was like, all right, those are those 3 films. These Wolverine films, they're their own films. And then the First Class saga is their own films. But then when they brought in the original cast back for Days of Futures Past, it tied in not only the original 3 films, but then it tied in the new films as well. However, It fucked up a lot of continuity errors.
How do you think of we are really going over? We are really changing the subject to the to X-Men. It's bad. To this, to like what X-Men is, to Dark Phoenix was the last one that they ever did.
So that movie was.
I will tell you about my opinion. Go ahead.
That movie was doomed from the beginning because during the time, the original movie was going to be actually pretty good. But as they were filming that movie, the Fox-Disney merger was happening. So they actually had to go back and do a lot of reshoots to that film and add a lot of Disney. Yeah, they had to do a lot of things because they actually had planned for a sequel after that. But since the Disney-Fox merger happened, they actually had to just make it as this was the last film in the franchise, which it was, but then the way it ended, it still kind of set it up for a sequel if they were going to do one. But this movie was actually originally supposed to have Skrulls in it, but then Captain Marvel used Skrulls, so they couldn't use Skrulls. So they used the new alien race in this one, which was actually really similar to Skrulls. And I mean, they had to change a lot of things. There was actually supposed to be a whole different movie on its own, but they had to change a lot.
I gotta say, I watched about 30-45 minutes of the film. I shut it off.
Yeah.
I shut it off because one way I expect Professor X to do James McAvoy's character to do a lot better in this film. He came quiet.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence came out quiet. Jessica Chastain's character came out quiet.
Again, was not in the original script.
yeah, Rogue's character. What's her name? Sasha. What's her name? Sarah something.
Which
Sarah.
one?
Um, Rogue. Rogue. What's her name? Rogue. Rogue.
Who's calling me?
Rogue.
People keep calling me.
X-Man. We're all looking at right now. Dark Phoenix. Her name is Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
That's right. Sophie Turner. Assist Sarah. About. um. So Sophie Turner's character was very it was low too. Like it didn't give me much. Like when I'm talking about low, it wasn't so much out as a character. There wasn't much at all. I can sense. There was not much emotion to them
Hmm.
towards the script, and I felt like this movie when they did it, they were doing it, and they said, "Whoa, this movie's gonna look like shit. We're gonna do it shitty anyways."
I
We
think.
all know that because they were all merging to Disney.
I think
What the fuck ever?
this is what
We're
I
gonna
think.
do it anyways.
Here's my
Fuck it.
opinion on that. I think that with what they had to work with towards the end, because they had to do a lot of changes of this film, I think
Mm-hmm.
they try to just push out a somewhat entertaining movie, because what they had originally planned was probably going to be actually pretty decent. But then when the Fox Disney merger happened, they were forced to change a lot that they had planned out for this film, and
Yeah.
that caused them to do a lot of reshoots, do a lot of casting, and it ultimately just changed the whole story of where it was going in the first place. So it's not technically, it's really not the director's fault or anything. It's really on the studio, because the
I
studio
think
pretty
so
much
too, right?
though the studio
Do
pretty
you
much
think
told them at the last minute that that was happening, and that they had to go a
so
different
you
route with
don't
that
think
movie.
it's the writer's fault? You think it's more of like the production, like the
Well,
the
I feel like
studios, like
since this movie got pushed back, and since they had to do a lot of rewrites, and since they had to do a lot of reshoots, that the writers didn't have time, as much time as they needed, so they had to really rush things out just to kind of make a
mm-hmm.
somewhat entertaining film. And
Right.
so basically, that puts a lot of pressure on the writer, because then you got to come up with a whole new concept for something that you already originally had, and you have to kind of come up with something that's going to make sense to the story and
Uh-huh.
entertain the audience. And I think they were just really rushed, and they didn't, so they try to just push out something for the audience to enjoy.
No, I think that's correct. I think that's really correct because of them. It's really based on this whole studio idea.
Yeah.
Um, Once you write a really good fanatic fucking film, I mean, fantastic fucking script. You have
Yeah.
a really good script. You send it to the studio, and they fucking beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And then that's the whole thing about the studio. The studio is the main fucking problem.
Yeah.
Some of the writers is actually some of their fault too.
Well,
Because you
that's
gotta look at
why
the writers. The
that's
writers
why
they look at
DC
it like
movies are the
bullshit.
way they are, though, because the studio takes a lot of control in what they do, rather than
Right,
letting the directors or the writers have the freedom to make a good movie.
right. And we see that, and then we're looking like, why the fuck is this movie so fucking shitty?
Yeah.
Because of the writing, or because of the studio.
The studio steps in and tries to change stuff when the writers and
Yeah.
directors work their ass off to try to make
That's
an actual.
why I hate that though.
Yeah.
Because the studio would change it off, and then they're like, well, we can't do shit about it. We gotta put this movie on. We gotta put this movie on the screen.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's just put it on there. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Roll the dice. Fuck it. Like, why? Why do you gotta do that though? Why
Yeah.
fight? Why can't you just fight it off and say like, well, I think this and that, like X, Y, and Z. Um, there are some other films though. There's some other screenwriters, and they really fight that off. I think they really do really good. Um, um, but this kind of that kind of film was kind of really
Yeah.
shitty. Um, what were we
But
really talking about the
it's. I mean, we
whole
were talking about cinemas closing and everything, and
yeah,
videos on
we went
demand. I
way
mean,
off this
it's
part.
kind of it does kind of suck. And
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of
It
movies
really
that are getting postponed that I want to see, and it's just gonna
yes.
be a matter of time
Are
till.
we updating? So now that we look at it, now that like everything is shut down for production, though, for especially for Batman,
Batman's on
Batman shut
hold. All
down.
the Disney Plus Marvel shows are on hold, so that pushes them back. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure Mandalorian season 2's on hold too.
What do you think when everything comes back? Do you think everything is coming back to normal, or if it's gonna be a way different vision for
I
themselves?
think when everything comes back, it's gonna be a shit show, because
Maybe. Why is that?
you gotta imagine when a production shuts down, that costs the studio money, and
It
that costs
does.
with setbacks and pushbacks. When the studio has an initial release date and they gotta push back that release date, that costs them money on that project, and that's just more money they got to put out into these movies, and then that means more money they have to try to get back in the box office. Um,
Hmm.
and that puts a lot of people out of jobs as well. So I think when this is all said and done, not only with just releases but with production, it's going to be kind of a shit show to get everything back up and going again, because things that are already in production right now already have sets and stuff. They're just kind of left there right now. You know what I mean? They're just not being touched at all. Everything's just left there, and they got to just pick up where they left off and stuff, which is kind of hard. And it also kind of affects actors and actresses as well, because, for example, Robert Pattinson has to maintain a certain diet and a certain weight limit and physique for Batman. And if
Yes.
he comes back like
Yes.
10 pounds overweight, you're gonna notice that on
Yeah.
the film.
That's the thing I'm worried about too, because they're trying to make this whole Batman film to make it to another, switch it to a 360 and make it a better film
Yeah.
for themselves, because all these other Batman films have been really, really way off.
Yeah.
Not saying Christopher Nolan's.
I think I lost you. It's going so good. Reconnecting the connection. Looks like we're doing some editing. Write that down as a note. 55 minutes.
Oh shit! Sorry.
We're back. It's all right. All right.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, I'm just. I wrote down the times I gotta edit out though, so it's okay.
Oh, my battery died right when I was talking about the right when my iPad died right in front of me.
All right, go ahead and talk now.
Okay, so what was I saying about the whole?
With Batman, and the whole.
Yes. So when you think when like the Batman is gonna come, like when this character is gonna come back, and it's way off the limit, do you think like it's? I don't know how much it's gonna change without the film.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to do that. They're trying to swap. They're trying to make this whole Batman film into a 360.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this a whole new perspective, and I'm rooting for it. I think it's great, but then with this whole shutdown, it's not happen. It's not making anything good.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and that's my big thing about movies that are getting postponed and delayed and stuff. It's like, okay, you got to imagine, a lot of studios have movies already planned to like 2025, like
Right.
they got movies planned way ahead, and they already slate their dates, and they already have it, ready to go. I mean, and this is another example too. I mean, Avatar 2 just got pushed back to December 2021 now.
No way.
Yeah, it's at December 2021 now, and all the other movies got pushed back as well. because
Oh
of this whole virus.
shit.
He's been trying to. I mean, we're never gonna get another Avatar film. Let's just be real at this point.
Do you think though we're not gonna see another film for another 6 months?
I don't think that long. I don't. No, we're only into like week 2 of this whole pandemic, really.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I
We're
said, this today was supposed to be Quiet Place Part 2.
Yes, today.
So, I mean, that's
Do you
postponed.
think that that whole film would have made a difference, so for making versus what Quiet Place One would have been? Do you think that film would have been like this movie changed what like this is a better film than because we gotta look at sequels,
I
versus like is this sequel better than the original one or
I think it
what's
would have gave us. I think it would have been good only to the fact that this movie was gonna explain more of where these aliens came from,
mm-hmm.
and you were gonna kind of get an origin of how it all went down, and then you're
Which
gonna
was
get
a good part of that, which was
yeah,
great.
and then you were gonna also get the sequel of what the family did next, which is gonna be it was gonna pick up literally where Quiet Place One took left off.
Yeah,
So you were
yeah,
gonna get the sequel, and then you were also gonna get
yeah,
the prequel to kind of figure out how this all started and where the family goes next.
yeah. And John
And
Krasinski was supposed to be part of this film too. He's supposed to be like a
yeah,
cameo in
he's
that.
gonna be in the beginning prequel stuff.
I think he is too.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
they're gonna
he's directing it too. He's
yeah, he
directing it.
directed, he helped write it again, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I think it
I
would have been
think
pretty good.
that's such a that you gotta think for those kind of like for those kind of people that came off like at a like as a funny genre and they came off and then they come over here and they do like a very horror film.
Yeah,
We gotta look at Chris Rock doing Saw.
that movie's been on hold for
That's
indefinitely.
weird, right? That's weird
That
because
movie's been
like
placed on hold for indefinitely too, man. We don't know if
yeah,
that's gonna come out anytime
that's
soon.
yes, we don't know that's coming out too. But those kind of films we look at, we're like, what the fuck?
No, and then not only that, but Jordan Peele becoming a big time producer now and director and writer. I mean, he's the narrator and host of the new Twilight Zone reboot.
Yes.
He
From
has
him coming off of Mad TV and then doing this.
Key and Peele. I mean, and then
Yeah.
he wrote, directed, and produced Get Out and Us. And then now he's
Yes. He's an
producing
Oscar winner.
Oscar winner.
Oscar
He's
winner.
producing the new Candyman reboot.
Yes. Did you see
So
a trailer for that too?
it didn't really catch my attention.
Really?
I don't
I
think
thought it was pretty good.
However, I have never really seen the original Candyman, and I just thought the whole concept of Candyman. I
We should
mean,
watch that.
I just
We
think
should
it's a
watch it.
rip-off of Bloody Mary.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's the
Bloody
same
Mary?
concept of saying the name. Like, I think it's in Candyman's favor, it's 5 times, but I mean, it's the same concept. And the only thing different is he uses a sickle and he works with bees. That's it.
Well, we gotta look at these other films that we're redoing. They're redoing.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're redoing though? Because they want to see a better effect.
I just
They
think they're
gotta see
redoing it because Hollywood just
they
ran
got
out of
the
ideas.
New tech, though. They got a new tech. They got the new tech, and then what are they gonna do for it? They got a new tech, and then they're doing fucking. They're like, well, fuck, we gotta reboot the Candyman. We gotta reboot The Shining, or we
No.
gotta reboot this. No, do
No,
not do that. Though.
not The Shining.
Never again. No, not that. But,
Actually, Stanley Kubrick put it in his will after he died that none of his movies are ever getting rebooted.
Oh, fuck yes. Please, thanking God. Yes, that's great. I think that...
Unless someone else wants to take an adaptation of Stephen King's book, they're more than welcome to. But to reboot
well, we gotta
Stanley
look
Kubrick's...
at the other stuff. We gotta look at, like, we got Stephen King... We got to look at the Doctor Sleep, and then we do that. But I think, like, for those kind of films, like, they reboot, and then they want to see a better effect. I think they want to see a better effect for those films. And then why... And then... What's the whole point of it? No.
You want to know what the whole point of a reboot is? Because Hollywood ran out of ideas and they just want to get a quick cash grab.
Yes, that's right. That's the whole thing. They ran out of ideas. They're like, well, fuck, we gotta reboot something. Let's think. Candyman. Let's go there. Jordan?
You know the difference between a reboot and a remake?
Mm.
A remake is a completely whole new movie with the same title and same kind of concept. However, a reboot, all they do is change just enough so you'll pay for the same stuff again. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. They taught me that.
That's wow. I just thought of that. I didn't ever thought about that before.
Yep.
A reboot and a remake. Um, yeah, we gotta we see these all these reboots and remakes, and I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is that Hollywood is make running out of fucking ideas because these other films that they see and they're like, well, we can't accept those because those are shitty. We gotta see something that's really big. Let's remake something like let's reboot Dumber Dumber. I was like, what? Because they're like, well, we gotta rewrite
The
this. We
only
gotta do.
way, the only reason that movie worked out is because the two people they had involved with it. That was it.
Yes, because they're fucking alive. They're
Um,
alive.
but
Because
yeah, to kind of end this topic right here, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, just stuff getting shut down and stuff is causing major setbacks, not only on productions but on release dates and stuff. And it's kind of a bummer because we don't know when we'll be able to see them. There's no
yeah.
official dates for a lot of stuff. Wonder Woman actually just got pushed back as well.
Yes, they
Um,
were really pushing that to go in theaters too.
Yeah, and that didn't come out till
Mm-hmm.
summertime, so that tells you that they're taking just precautions because they might go,
Mm-hmm.
it might extend to summer. Um,
Yeah.
but guys, before we log off, me and Lucille actually had an idea, and we want to hear your feedback on our Instagram page at cinema101 underscore. We were thinking about doing some commentary for some movies, and we want to know what you guys think about that. If you want to watch along at home, we'll give you the timestamp, of course, in our podcast, so you can watch along with us and hear our commentary throughout the movie.
We will
But
be together. It's not gonna be social distancing, so fuck that.
I mean, we'll see how long this thing
We'll
lasts.
see
I
how
mean,
long this goes.
we
Yeah.
might have to
So
social distance in the first couple of them, but we'll see
yeah,
what happens.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Though. Go.
But
Proceed.
yeah, we're thinking about just getting a list of movies that we've both watched in the past and just kind of rewatch them, giving our commentary, maybe our theories, some Easter eggs, or just all out fun that we have watching these movies, and just commentating over them. And we're going to start small. We're going to find movies that are under an hour and a half, just so we can keep, of course, the podcast vibe going, but we don't overdo it with ourselves. And when we feel we're ready to move forward, we'll go with longer movies that will extend it to 2 hours, then 2.5 hours, and then if we ever have to, 3 hours. But
We think though, and I think I just didn't tell you this, so I want you to think about it. But I think as we watch the film, we will commentary it. Then also, but we will talk about like the current events. We'll talk about what's going on in life. We'll talk about what's going on like in the film industry. You know, like we'll give news. We'll do
that's
our
probably what
normal
we'll
shit.
start with usually, and then we'll get into a film.
Right.
So podcasts
Okay.
may be getting extended, and we will let you know about that. So
Yes.
until then,
Prepare for a 3-hour film.
yeah, until then, people, we really thank you for taking the time to listen to our podcast while all this is
Yes.
going down.
Thank you all.
We're trying to
Please.
push out
Guys, wash
content so
your
we can
fucking hands.
keep you guys entertained and keep you guys sane through this quarantine
Yes.
pandemic. Make sure to, of course, follow our podcast on any of the streaming platforms that you're listening on, and keep it locked down because we're going to be constantly, hopefully, trying to get back to our schedule, releasing episodes week by week on what we feel is
The next 2 weeks.
yeah. So thank you everyone for listening to another episode of the Cinema Dudes podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
Yeah. Hoo-ah!